Welcome back everyone to another second stimulus package and second stimulus check update. Today is Wednesday, October 21st. We have an update on that smaller piecemeal package that the Republicans attempted to pass regarding the PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. We'll also have some recent discussions that we also have to look at as well. And we'll be diving right in. Before we get to the news, I don't ask for any funding. I don't ask for any donations. All I do ask of you is go ahead and smash the like button for me. Just give the video a big thumbs up. Smash the like button. Just to help with that YouTube algorithm. YouTube will actually push the video to more people. So it is support me and my channel. It's also mutually beneficial, right? So everyone will be in the know, privy to what's going on. So just go ahead and hit that like button. If you're feeling extra generous today while you're down there, you might want to consider hitting that big red button, the subscribe button. And also hit that notification bell as well. That notification bell will just notify you every single time I do make a new video. That way you're first line to see it before anyone else gets to it. I do post videos now every single solitary day, no exceptions, no excuses. So please do all the things I aforementioned. I'll greatly appreciate it. So first, let's cover what happened with that PPP bill that McConnell put forth and attempted to get pushed through and implemented. What went on there? What happened with the votes? So the GOP tried to pass a $500 billion smaller coronavirus stimulus package, and it has no mention of stimulus checks or unemployment benefits or any of the funding that Americans are so eagerly waiting. It is just more funding for the PPP to try to help keep small businesses afloat and people employed. Now, a similar bill was already blocked by the Democrats last month, but the GOP tried once more, and it was blocked by Democrats once again. The measure failed in a 51-44 party line vote, falling short of the 60 votes that are needed. This stalemate in the Senate just further extends months of gridlock on Capitol Hill as millions of Americans are impatiently waiting more aid and support as they're trying to keep up with their rent, trying to afford food, and keep their businesses open. And to further fan the flames, you have an election season right around the corner, which is jarring the legislative process. And on top of that, the U.S. is hitting new infection cases and deaths, the likes of which we have not seen in a very long time. But remember, in the last update, I covered the fact that Pelosi put this deadline of 48 hours on Sunday, which means that a deal had to be reached by Tuesday in order for a stimulus package to be passed and implemented before the election. Well, Monday came and went, Tuesday came and went, and as predicted, as expected, no deal was made. According to reports, Mnuchin and Pelosi worked to resolve their outstanding differences over the stimulus package again on Wednesday, but they officially ran out of time to pass a deal before the 2020 election. According to Nancy Pelosi's spokesman, Drew Hamill, he had said in a tweeted statement that in a 48-minute phone call, the negotiators moved, quote, closer to being able to put pen to paper to write legislation and left, quote, better prepared to reach compromise on several priorities, and the pair will talk again on Thursday. Quote, differences continue to be narrowed on health priorities, including language, providing a national strategic testing and contact tracing plan, but more work needs to be done to ensure that schools are the safest places in America for children to learn. And before their conversation today, Nancy Pelosi told MSNBC that the sides have, quote, have a prospect for an agreement, but she did signal that these two sides will not reach an agreement before Election Day. Quote, I'm optimistic that there will be a bill. It's a question of, is it in time to pay for the November rent, which is my goal, or is it going to be shortly thereafter and retroactive? But remember, even if Mnuchin and Pelosi did reach an accord yesterday or today, they would still have to garner the support from uberly, fiscally conservative Republicans in the Senate, which are extremely resistant to spending one nickel in this economy. The Republican argument for against more spending in Congress is that the Democrats have reached for an expensive wish list filled with many provisions unrelated to the crisis. Like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had said that Democrats are engaging in, quote, all or nothing obstruction as they hold out for a comprehensive deal worth about $2 trillion plus. Then on the Democratic side, they're accusing the GOP of failing to recognize the magnitude of the economic and health crisis gripping the country. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that the Republican plan is partisan and emaciated. Now, in an extreme hypothetical, even if we witnessed today or yesterday Pelosi and Mnuchin reach an agreement, and then you saw support from both sides of the aisle and had a bipartisan support, and it did get passed, you'd still have challenges because you'd have a lot of lame duck legislators on both sides of the aisle, probably more towards the Republican side and probably more towards the Senate, that are about to leave office in January, and that on its own would pose its own challenges. But oddly, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, meanwhile, is still cheerful for another stimulus package agreement to be reached this week. Meadows told Fox Business, quote, "I am optimistic. We do share one goal, and that is hopefully to get some kind of deal in the next 48 hours or so. I can tell you that the negotiations have entered a new phase, which is more on the technical side of trying to get the language right if we can agree upon the numbers. We're still apart, still a number of issues to work on, but the last 24 hours have moved the ball down the field." House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also painted a similar rosy picture. She had said none of it is insurmountable if you want to make a decision, and as I say, and he says to me, and I say to him, why would I even be talking to you if we didn't think that we could and need to have a decision and agreement? So the wild card still does remain to be the Senate Republicans, who have so far declined, of course, a $3 trillion HEROES Act that we saw pass back in the House all the way back in May, which feels like an eternity ago. They've passed a $2.2 trillion revised HEROES Act, and even by its own White House, the $1.8 trillion offer still rejected by Republicans, even though Trump thinks that ultimately Republicans will succumb and do the higher numbers, as he says. Meadows went on to say, "We don't have a Pelosi-Mnuchin deal yet. Once we get a deal there, hopefully we'll be able to discuss the merits with our Senate colleagues." Now, these negotiations are behind closed doors, right? It's all smoke and mirrors. We don't actually have access to these conversations and negotiations. But if the reports are accurate and Mark Meadows is right, and Drew Hamill, the spokesman for Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi herself, if all of these statements are accurate and everyone's telling the truth, progress is being made. Apparently, it's more focused on the actual language of the text in this legislative process as opposed to the line items and features right now. But either way, you still have to gather that support from Senate Republicans, which are basically immobile right now, immovable on the stimulus negotiation. Now, perhaps Mark Meadows is right that an agreement could be reached by the end of this week, not so much from the Pelosi-Mnuchin side, but rather from the White House, which Trump has said that he is willing to put pen to paper and ready to sign something and give direct relief to Americans. That could be a possibility. That is still a prospect, but it would not be in time for Election Day. But at the same time, remember, even if Trump does not win re-election, it doesn't mean that he loses his seat as president November 3rd. He's still president until January, so he could still sign something and pass direct relief to Americans, and he would surely go out with a bang if that's the case. Those are all the updates that we know so far as of today, Wednesday, October 21st. I do hope you enjoy your second stimulus package and second stimulus check update for today. If you did, go ahead and click that like button for me to smash the like button. And if you want to see more of this on my channel, I do post videos every single solitary day covering everything from business to finance to investing, entrepreneurship, mindset, strategy, and tips and tricks from my own experience. I also do these stimulus check and stimulus package updates. So if you're interested in any of those topics, if any of those niches appeal to you, hit that big red button, the subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell as well. That way you're notified every single time I do make a new one. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video.